Hi guys, I'm Qwerty2jam,
And I'm Prototype.
and welcome to the first Greenhorn guide for Guns of Icarus to be Kings. In this one, we'll be covering Gunner, the easiest role, and how to set up, play, and just a little bit about weapon drop and equipment.
Alright, so basically with the gunner, or any class, first things first, you want to pick what role you want to play. You go up to the top right and you select the symbol. Gunner is the bullet, engineer is the spanner, and pilot is the steering wheel. So we're covering gunner, so we're going to go to gunner. So as you can see, you've got a single piloting equipment, a single engineer equipment, and then you get 3 weapon because the gunner is made to shoot shit. So basically, as a general rule, you want to run spyglass on the gunner just so you can spot enemies for your team. Repair, really it's up to player preference and depending on what equipment you're running for your gunner, but you can run pipe wrench is always a good thing because if your gun does go down for any other reason, you can rebuild and repair it at a reasonable speed. Or you can run the fire extinguisher because even if you have a single flame stack on your gun, you cannot use it until it's destroyed and the flame runs out. So I highly recommend the pipe wrench or the fire extinguisher. And now we want to have a look at the actual weapon equipment. The first one you can choose from any of those 6. I highly recommend the heat sink clip. Like I said, flames are a gunner's worst nightmare. If your gun is down and you can't get that flame off, you're practically useless. Although apart from that, I'd recommend the charged rounds or the incendiary rounds. They're both very good. And the second one, I recommend incendiary rounds or greased rounds. And avoid the Lochner shot pretty much at all costs unless you know what you're doing. The reducing any clip down to 1 round, it pretty much destroys any gun in a single shot as is. I would only recommend it on something like a long range howitzer build or something like that. But yeah, incendiary rounds or charge rounds for those, especially for new players. And then in the last slot, similar again to the first, but in this one we have the burst rounds. Burst rounds are amazing. The extra explosive damage, better clip size. Shoots a little bit slow, but it's only 15%. It's not a big deal. It is actually amazing. So out of those, player preference once again, but I recommend incendiary rounds, burst rounds, or charge rounds.
Okay, and with that we have joining the game. Once that's all done, you hit customization complete, pick your game. For this purpose we're just entering a sandbox, and you will pick your slot. Make sure you're selecting the gunner position, not engineer or pilot. Nothing is worse than having a ship with all gunners, or all, even worse, all pilots. Okay, with that you wait for your captain to ready up and you'll begin loading into game. Okay, once you're in game you need to take a look at your ship, or more importantly your captain's ship. You need to learn the different gun positions on the ship. For example, I use the Pyramidion. It's my favourite ship. I believe nothing can quite beat it. In this case we have 2 guns on the left hand side, 1 and 2. No guns on the right or rear, and then you have 2 guns up on the battlements up here facing forwards. Thus the ship is a very dogfighting build. Now every ship has a different position for all its weapons, and you'll need to work out which one is your favourite to fight on and try to fight on it.
Just like most classes, when you hop on a gun, you'll see down the bottom you've got your 4 icons. If you have a spyglass, that is. You can select those by either scrolling to select each one, or using the 1 through to 4 it'll be. Now, whenever you swap an ammo, it forces a reload on the gun. The best thing you can do is load the ammo you want to use before you get into a fight. So at the start of a game, when all the ships have just spawned, no one's actually in a fight, no one's really doing anything, that's your best time to swap over to the ammo you want to use first.
Now, one of the most important parts about fighting in this game is the concept of leading shots, and bullet drop. The best example of this is the mortar. When fired, the bullets curve quickly, as you can see. This can make it extremely hard to difficult at long range, as if we fire towards the wreckage, you can see, trying to hit where the marker is pointing will not happen. You need to aim severely up to hit your target. The other concept is leading your shots. If a target is moving in a direction to your side, you do not want to be shooting at them. Your shots will fall behind them. You want to be shooting in front of or behind that target, depending on their momentum. Here is an example of leading shots. If I fire at where he is, we can see them falling to the side. If I aim to the side of where he is, the shots, while not necessarily hitting from this range because the weapon, will actually hit, as we can see.
The best thing you can possibly do for your team is just practice. Practice, practice, practice. Like, there's nothing worse than... Like, the worst you can ever be at using a gun is when you first use it. Like, I know when I started using the mortar, I could not hit anything. Ever. I would miss every single shot, but then you get used to the drop, you get used to how fast the bullets are. And just, in general, practice really does make perfect.
Now, the number one rule of Guns of Icarus for every role is to always listen to your captain. If a captain gives you an order, whether it be by type or chat, they generally know what they're doing. Always do what your captain says. If they say get off the gun and repair the balloon, get off the gun and repair the balloon. If the captain says to load burst rounds, load some damn burst rounds. Do not argue with your captain. Do not do the opposite of what your captain tells you. Do not ignore your captain. Please do what your captain tells you. It'll make the games go much better. Alright, that's been us. Thank you for watching the first Greenhorn guide on gunning, and we'll catch you next time.